everyone, I'm Sarah with Fisher Price Ranch. First off, hit that subscription button down below and the notification bell for updates on our next videos. So since we're kind of going into quarantine here with the virus, it's looking like they might be shutting down some transport or traveling. Our work is shut down to only to-go orders, and we can't. We're at a restaurant, so we can't let people come in and sit down. So work's going to slow way down for us. So we figured to take this time, and we're going to get some of our farm projects done. So since we're going to be in quarantine, we might as well work on the quarantine pen. Alright, we've got all the trees trimmed. Looks so much better in here. You can see the big brush pile there and all that. Now this is wide open. So this is where we're going to put our new barn. And then we'll be getting rid of these two. Since this is kind of our quarantine pen / chicken pen, we wanted something a little bit more sturdy and something that the goats could easily get into that are in quarantine, instead of just these tiny little things that they have to crawl in or just lay out in the weather. So as you can see, the ground's still pretty covered, but we've been working over here and it's looking a lot better. Getting up all the sticks and rocks and everything. All the old hay. So we're getting there. I'm seeing progress. Alright, so we are on day 2 of the quarantine pen. I did have to work this morning, so we didn't get super far, but we've got all of our tools. Had to go get some screws today, but show you guys kind of the finished product of the cleanup. So we've got all the ground raked, all the trees are trimmed. This is where the barn's going to go, which we're just about to get started. It's all cleaned all the way around here. So now we've got all our materials back here. We've got our trusses and everything that we need. So we're going to start bringing all that in. We've got all our metal roofing. And we might even put a gutter on so we can collect the water for the chickens instead of having to get it out of the hose. So anyway, we are ready to get started. Alright, so we've got the skeleton of our barn up. We are using old pallets and beams. And we do have trusses for the roof. This is a 4x12, or just a little bigger than a 4x12, or 8x12, I'm sorry. 8x12. So we've got the pallets, we've got a 4-foot doorway. So now we're going to work on putting the roof on, and then some siding.
I want one more. Quit walking away and take some.
I'm doing video. Alright, so we just started putting our trusses on. We just got the first one up. And we're getting ready to put the second one on. We're just measuring to see how far apart they need to be. We're almost done with the trusses.
Can you
Two
look,
more.
Sarah? The same way I did it before. Why wasn't I? And I'll do it. She's video. Just to show how I did all the rest.
Yeah, this is how one person gets a giant truss up on top of a... How tall you think that roof, that first beam is?
9 foot?
9 foot. One person, 9 foot high, getting a beam up there on a wobbly wall.
And a windy day.
On a windy day, yep.
Just like that. Just roll it over. That's not our mark. It looks like our mark.
Alright, so now that the foundation of the building is done, we've got all our metal here. We are going to put metal on the roof and the sides. And then we have our peak piece, make sure we don't have any leaks. So we're going to do the whole thing in metal, and we'll just leave the eaves open for ventilation.
I don't think these are.
Alright, so it's been a slow process because we have so much wind in the spring, but today's a nice day. We did get the roof finished, and I just started on the siding. We're going to do that in metal as well. So, I'm doing it by myself at the moment because nobody else is home, so I'm gonna work on getting the front and the backs done as high up as I can, and then we'll screw the very tops later this evening when everybody else gets home. But I can at least get that part done, and then we're going to have to cut, because of the trusses up there, we're going to have to cut the sheets shorter for them to fit on the sides. So that's kind of what's going on today. Alright, so I got the front done, except I didn't screw the very top because I'm not getting up there. But we're going to close in the front there. And then I got most of the back done, but I'm going to have to cut some pieces of metal to fit the corners, and the top needs screwed on. And then we're going to cover those holes to block any rain and wind from getting in. We may leave the front open, and then of course the eaves will be open for ventilation. So now, because I'm still by myself, what I'm going to do is get the plywood that we have, and I'm going to... Excuse me, sir, I'm trying to talk. But we're going to cover all these little holes so the chickens don't get stuck. And when we have goats in here for quarantine, nobody gets stuck in any holes or anything. So we'll make it nice and solid. Alright, so here's the front door. We'll be closing in the top part of it and make it just over 6 foot tall. But I did get, like I said, I'm using all scrap material, but it's fully enclosed all the way around at the base, except for these 2 pallets, but they're solid on the other side. There's not much for the chickens to get stuck in. Same with this one. It's just the one hole that's only like 6 inches deep, so that should be good. But that'll keep them nice and warm in here. It'll actually help insulate just a little bit, since there's a good space in between. If we really wanted to, we could fill these full of hay once the siding is on. Show you on this side. We could fill that full of old straw or hay to insulate the building. So that's something that we could think about in the future. But since we're coming into spring, I don't think we're going to need to right now. So now I'm going to take a break, and then hopefully the guys will get here and we can finish the siding. And then all I got to do is put the nest box in. And then we're going to put a couple of roost bars over here. And then on this side, we're just going to put in a small hay feeder for when there's goats in here for quarantine. And we'll just leave all this open for the goats to lay down in, so they don't get pooped on by the chickens. Well, we're almost done. We had to get some different siding. So I got one wall is almost finished. We just have that corner. And then we just got to do this side. But we got all the nest boxes in. Got the roosts in. And we're keeping water under there for now. So that chicken, she didn't lay an egg yet, but she did already make a nest. So that means she likes it. It's pretty cool. So the nice thing is we have it tied down here, and we can easily unhook it and then lift up the whole thing and see down the whole nest box and collect eggs that way. And then easily lock it back up. I'm trying to do one-handed, so it's not as easy. There we go. Alright, so this way, having the nest boxes up that high, our problem before in our old chicken coop was that the livestock guardian dogs could get in there and they'll stand up and reach the eggs and they would eat them all. So, doing it this way, there ain't no way the dogs can get up there, because the bottom of the nest box, right before the doors, is 4 foot off the ground. So it's pretty high up there. And then the dogs aren't able to get their heads in those little holes. Alright guys, so it's been like a week and a half we've been trying to work on this chicken coop. I just want to give you an update. Unfortunately, with spring here, we get all the wind, so it's slow going, unfortunately. We only have like maybe an hour or two in the morning before the wind picks up. So, and then we're also trying to find scrap pieces. So I'll explain kind of what we're doing. So here's the coop. Roof's on. Most of the sides are on. So the metal that we're using, this silver stuff, is actually for when we get our next property. We have all the trusses and everything to do a huge barn, so we don't want to cut these. So we can't use them for the siding because, as you can see, those ones are really tall, and for the side, we'd have to cut the roofing, and we don't want to do that because when we do move in about a year, hopefully, we're going to take this with us. So that's why it's going to look a little funny. We're using all used materials. So I did get this side up. I haven't screwed the very top because I'm alone again, and I don't want to get on the ladder by myself with it being windy. The wind is picking up again. So I'm just getting what I can done. I'm going to have to add a board on the other side so that way I could screw those together. That one got bent, so I got to bend it back out, but then it'll screw together and block the wind there. And then I have to do the same thing on this side. There's no board, and so I have to add a board so that I could screw that together, and then I'll have to do the same on the other side. But because I got as far as I did, I was able to tear down the old chicken coops that used to be right here. So you can see they have a lot more room to kind of run around, and we got all the trees trimmed up, so it's just a lot more clean in here. Other than all the old bread that we threw it to the chickens, so they made a mess of it. We had it in a little pile, but yeah. So anyway, here is the chicken coop. You can see I got the walls done enough that they could be in here out of the wind. All I have left is that little corner up there, and then the very top up there. And that'll block the wind and any rain from getting in. We're going to leave the eaves open for airflow. And then all we have left to do is this wall here. But at least this way they're covered top, bottom, and 3 sides. We got the front side here. We just don't have the door in. But anyway, so now they can use it. That's why I tore down the old chicken coops. So I had to move my broody hen who's sitting on eggs and hoped that she would accept the new spot, and it looks like she has. I know sometimes they don't like to be moved, but she's sitting on her 9 eggs, and they're due to hatch in a week. So hopefully we'll have little chicks running around soon. And everybody's really starting to like this little nest box. We've got this girl in here laying. They don't seem to use the middle. Kind of wonder if I should just cover 1 or 2, those 2 middle holes, so there's only 2 ways in, or maybe just one of them. So it's a little darker in there for them, and maybe they'll use more of just, instead of just the corners. See, they're only in the corners, they're not using anything over here. So I may cover one of these holes just to give them a little bit more darker privacy and see if that will help them to pick more spots to lay. But as you fellow chicken owners know, even with all these hens, they'll I have 20 hens and they'll choose to lay in 1 or 2 nests all together, no matter how many nest boxes you give them. So anyway, hopefully our next little video piece on this will be a finished barn. Alright, so I want to give you guys the last update, other than taking out the last bit of roofing we don't need in those couple of beams. The barn is finished to our liking. We may close this up a little bit more if we need to, maybe for winter or something, but right now for the summer, it'll keep it nice and cool in there. But everything's nice and clean. And we left a few holes in the barn just for ventilation. But as you can see, so we've got the ventilation up there. There's a little crack there, not a big deal. And a couple of cracks. But it looks pretty good, nice and solid. No wind is in here. We've got chickens enjoying their nests. We've got eggs to collect. Can I see? She's all, no, you can see my butt. There we go. So we got eggs in there. And then over on this side, this girl's sitting on 9 fertilized eggs. We should have chicks here in about, 3 days from now. So we'll have them running around here soon. We've got their roosts right here. And so when there's goats in here, this will be the feeder to hold the hay. We've got our new chicken feeder back here. I have a video for that on how we made it. And I got a water bowl down here. I'll probably put a bigger water trough in here. Maybe tomorrow. I'm not sure yet. But anyway, so I hope that this was helpful for you guys. See how we're building our barn out of scrap pieces that we had laying around. It's not the prettiest, but it works for what we need it to. Alright, well, we'll see you guys next time. Make sure to hit that subscription button down below.